only a few of us. So good afternoon, everybody. This is Connie Burke speaking. Welcome to our monthly regional abatement, OSF regional abatement meeting, and all other things as needed. Grateful to see everybody on. We just have a couple of things on the agenda to talk about, and then as always, we'll open it up in case folks have additional questions or comments or other issues that you want to talk about. Note that we do have some other folks from OASAS on, so depending on other issues that might come up, we may be able to address them here. We may need to take those things back. Before going on, the first thing I'd like to do actually is introduce Catherine. So Catherine Lozer has joined the OSF evaluation team. She is sitting here in the Albany office. We also are going to have another research scientist joining who is going to be located in the New York City office. So wanted to welcome Catherine to the meeting, in particular because she is going to be our liaison and collaborating with NYU with regard to their evaluation of the regional abatement portion of OSF. So you will be talking with her, you'll be connecting with her more in the near future. And speaking of that regional abatement evaluation, know that Ashley, Jordan, and Catherine will be here next month at the regional abatement meeting in September, along with our partners at NYU. So they will be talking about the project and actually looking to have some engagement with you with regard to the focus of the evaluation. So they're looking for input. Hopefully we'll have a robust discussion about the evaluation. So look forward to that in September. And then other items. So we are soon, it's August. So when I say soon, like next month, September, looking to release our 2026 regional abatement funding. Typically September, October is when we usually get payments out to you. We notify you of the amount and get dollars rolling. We are in touch with DOB. We are awaiting final numbers. And as soon as we have those, we will be making notifications to you as to the amount that you'll be receiving for fiscal year 2026. Having said that, I will then pivot to reporting because you all know that reporting in the prior year is a requirement for receiving the following year's allotment. And so as of right now, it looks like we have a couple of LGUs we're still waiting to hear from. So three of the LGUs are still outstanding as of right now with their reporting. Know that we cannot issue your 26 payment until we get that 25 report from you. We also have two other litigating entities and one of the large cities that we haven't heard from. So we've got a few hangers on. Fortunately, it's about a handful and not more than that. And I do appreciate everybody's responsiveness with regard to getting the report in. I do appreciate that from you. So stay tuned as to when we're going to get the $26 rolling. And if you are among the handful that have not submitted your report, please do so as soon as possible, so that we can be sure to include you in issuing the 26 funding. And I just want to say, if you haven't submitted your report, and if we do get the 26 funding out before you've submitted the report, know that as soon as you get it to us, we will then issue you the dollars. It's not as though you're going to lose your turn on the $26 altogether if you hadn't submitted your report yet. So do get your report in so you can receive that funding. And then in terms of other items, I did want to check in with the LGUs in particular with regard to one of the priority areas identified by the board for fiscal year 2026. So know that in previous years, the board has been consistent in terms of their 10 priority areas that included harm reduction, transportation, housing, recovery, treatment, media, which they might not have called media, and research. I'm sure I'm missing something in there. Prevention, I'm missing prevention in there. And what the board had done was actually only change the percentage. So the allocation within each priority area changed from 24 to 25. With regard to recommendations for 2026, the board actually redefined the priority areas. And so included in the 2026 recommendations is a bucket for grassroots organizations. Now, folks, LGUs may remember when we first started working on opioid settlement funds back in 2023, there was a concern expressed by the board with regard to being able to reach those grassroots organizations, those small entities who are really working on the ground. They're in the, they're really in the weeds trying to connect with individuals in community and the want to provide them with additional support. And we did go through an exercise where OASAS reached out to LGUs and asked you to please help us identify the grassroots organizations, because that was one of the challenges. If providers aren't already, if there's an entity that's not already contracting with the state, we really have no way of identifying them or knowing who's out there. And so we had asked each of you LGUs to please provide us with the names of those grassroots organizations in your county, hoping that you were aware of them and that they were on your radar. We also at the same time communicated at board meetings, if you're a grassroots organization, make yourself seen, reach out to the LGU and introduce yourself if you don't have a relationship, because they're key, the LGU is key to you being able to secure funding at the county level. So we had a modest response to that effort. And I think one thing that it showed us was that it is even hard at the local level, at a county level, to identify who those grassroots orgs are if they don't, stand up and again, make themselves seen. It remains a challenge, and with the 26 allotment specifically for grassroots organizations, and I think it's somewhere around $6.5 million, we're looking at possible ways of making those dollars available. How can we reach those grassroots organizations? How can we find folks who are on the ground doing the work and may not be positioned to be able to apply through a state contracting process or procurement, apply to an RFA. And so one of the things that I wanted to ask you all about is, if we provided an opportunity to LGUs to access those funds so that you could identify the grassroots organizations within your county that are doing the work, and that you would be able to pass on to them, contract with them, whatever your procurement process is within your county. Is that something that you would be interested in and willing to do? Again, these are 26 appropriations, so we don't have, we aren't ready to move on these yet, and I can't say how soon we will be able to. So this is all like prospective, right? Again, I wanted to have the conversation. I wanted to hear your opinions. I wanted to get a sense of, your willingness and ability to do something like that. So I'm putting it out there. Does anyone have any comments or thoughts initially?
I do. Sorry, Michael, go ahead.
Melissa, no, you go first.
Yeah, no, as you were talking, Connie, I'm sitting here thinking we do have a grassroots entity that kind of started a couple years ago from a veterans perspective and kind of grew into so much more than that, that they actually do food pantries. They help people get to certain services. They do a lot of outreach in the community, sharing different information from different providers and how to access those services, and to actually afford them the ability to do even more with that, I think is an excellent idea, honestly.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
Melissa, that's something, oh, I'm sorry, Michael, if I could just ask Melissa. So if we were to say, you know, great, Melissa, here's X amount of money to support your grassroots orgs, and you identify that organization, you'd have a mechanism for getting those dollars into their hands.
Yes, yeah, we are actually doing RFPs, as it were, and we're treating it just like state pass-through monies in a sense, that they go for the RFP, then we enter into contract with them, and then they voucher us on a regular basis, and we provide them with the money.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you. Michael, your thoughts?
Just echoing what was shared by my colleague, I think most counties have a strategic plan for opioid strategic planning, and a lot of the counties include diverse stakeholders, racially, culturally, community competent providers. And I think one of the benefits, if we were involved, is to also give them the TA, like you said, give them the platform to be successful at what they do. And they may not have the bandwidth, but with the support, you know, we have the ability to identify them. And the other thing, I was speaking to my colleague Trevor Payne also prior to this call about, as we look at how to best align, maximize our resources moving forward, because these resources are so precious, having a better sense of what the state is thinking, OASAS, about future planning, so we can make sure we're supporting some of the RFPs that the state is pushing out, really getting our providers to do some preparation to be in a position to apply, so we're not working in silos. So I think it meets from a local planning perspective, but also maximizing the ability to connect those funds to really meaningful programs as well.
I agree with those comments as well, and we've done that previously with some of our prior year funding through OSF. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to continue to provide better supports to our community and for those agencies that do the work but don't have a means to access funding. So I mean, it's a phenomenal opportunity.
Okay. Other thoughts or comments folks have? And thank you, Suzanne and Michael.
Hi, this is Jean Marie from Dutchess. And just to jump on the bandwagon, we had a very successful opioid Summit Fund initiative in Dutchess County where we did mini grants for youth serving agencies. Was really fantastic. The applications that we reserved about $200,000. Agencies could apply for up to $20,000, and the response was tremendous, and we had very creative projects that came through, and they're just now really coming to fruition. We're sort of like halfway through, maybe second quarter, and their outcomes are coming in, and we're going to ribbon cuttings, and we're getting invited to different community events, and it's just been fantastic to see the ripple effects through the community, not only increasing access to all sorts of opportunities for young people in the realm of prevention, but also in fostering improved relationships between us and those grassroots organizations.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic, fantastic. Other comments, other thoughts? And don't, and I do want to, you know, this is a safe space. So if you're an LGU that's saying, oh my gosh, no, thank you, OASAS, you know, I'm open to hearing that as well. So I just don't want anyone to think if you're not jumping on the bandwagon, we don't want to hear from you. You can also talk about challenges if that's, you know, if that's your perspective.
Can I just add a challenge though?
Sure,
from our
sure.
experience? Well, one challenge we did have is that oftentimes small organizations do not meet the insurance requirements that are required from our central service, our Office of Central Service. So that's something to consider. We had to do some creative workarounds with our our county attorneys to be able to give these agencies access to the funds because they don't hold millions of dollars of insurance the way we would typically have our vendors, supply us with. So there needed to be flexibility within our system, and thankfully we were able to get there. But we did have to work to get there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Other comments or thoughts?
We developed a very similar structure here in Lewis County. Round 2 actually of our grant program launched yesterday. We use grant agreements rather than contracts. And so we've been successfully doing this for a year now, and it's been working really well. We have a minimum and a maximum award amount. I've allocated a certain amount of dollars each year to be available through this grant program, and we've been working with I guess last year they were traditional organizations, but I think the application is very, very simple. We worked with our county attorney to make the agreement very simple, and it had a quick turnaround time too, and was still quite successful.
Yeah, I mean, and when we had attempted to do this, and we did meet with some success when we did the local impact initiative. So, we set criteria for, what size organization, and just like you're saying, Anna, we tried to make the application very straightforward, very simple, so that it wasn't overly burdensome and providers and organizations didn't feel like they didn't have the resource to even be able to complete the thing. And so that did work. We did a couple of rounds of the local impact.
Yeah, we were, I don't know if you guys remember, because we did award, I think, over 50, but the award cap for us to be able to do it was $9,500, and that goalpost has moved a little bit, so we don't have that mechanism anymore, which is another, and the cap made it a very small amount. So you guys are talking a little slightly more robust amounts, it sounds like, which is good too.
Other comments? Thank you, Anna.
Oh, can I ask, I'm a little curious if any of you awarded something that was multi-year to these folks, or is this all generally a single year thing?
Well, how we do it is we do the RFP, we enter into the contract, and the contract renews annually, depending on what services are being provided and the amount of monies. We're not really looking for something that we'd have to supply every year. We do look for some kind of sustainability because we know this money is not going to be around forever. So we don't want it to be a point where we now have this service and have no way to maintain it. So we will help them for a year or so, but we are expecting that they come up with some kind of sustainability plan moving forward, and we do that by annual contract.
Ours is a one-year timeline for program or project implementation. With that said, I do have one 3-year agreement actually with the grassroots organization that we decided to actually not make apply through our grant program. They are actually like the heart of the fund, and like it was written with them in mind. And so we committed to 3 years of funding for them and didn't even make them apply. We just ordered it.
Nice. Great. So another thing, with regard to making the dollars available, obviously not all the LGUs are on this afternoon to weigh in on this. So I will send a communication out to the group in its entirety, and certainly Courtney, thank you in advance because I know you're always helpful making sure our correspondence reach everyone, to further inquire about interest. And from our perspective, we wanted to make this an option, make it, you could opt not to participate, not to take the additional dollars. So I expect there would be, just a quick short solicitation saying, would you be willing or would you opt out? So we know what the pool is, and then we could be sure to use the full amount that's available in that bucket among those who are interested in participating. So thinking it will look something like that. Again, this is 26 funding, so we're not approved to spend and move forward yet with those dollars, but wanted to get a sense. And I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate the fact that you come to this meeting every month and you are so fully collaborative and willing and interested to, you know, do what's needed to bring the dollars to the county, to your county, to get the work done. And it's funny because, you know, in talking about the idea, some people were like, well, counties want to do this, maybe not. But you guys always show up. I'm sorry. I was like, what? Of course they're going to say yes. Like, oh my gosh, the LGUs are like totally on board with us and like collaborating and getting this work done. And like they want to have a role here. So I'm glad to know I'm right. That you guys have like been responsive and are willing to step up and participate in this one. So I appreciate that very, very much, because just even managing all of the OSF, right? We've talked about this from the beginning. It's a huge amount of money. It's a lot of work. There's so many moving parts and pieces. So I do appreciate the collaboration that we've built around trying to move this mountain, that we still have quite a long ways to go in terms of these dollars that we have. So having said that,
Oh, sorry.
oh, is there a question or a hand up?
I thought
I was just gonna, yeah, it's Connie,
Oh,
it's
Courtney.
Courtney. I was just gonna jump in. I don't know if you saw the chat, but I just said, you know, we're happy to pull the membership and, you know, see if anyone raises any challenges, and then get that information back to you. But if you wanna solicit, I can always forward that solicitation and then
Okay.
get you some feedback too.
All right, great. Thank you, Courtney. Ever a great partner. Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate it. All right, so those were my agenda items for today. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. No, as I already said, that NYU will be at the September meeting. We are looking forward to a dialogue about the evaluation at that meeting. And then in terms of, you know, today, any other questions, comments, concerns that folks have that they want to bring to the table?
Also, just to piggyback a little on what Connie was saying, they are coming to the meeting, but you might hear from them prior to that.
Yeah.
They're going to begin reaching out and sampling and doing some of their initial interviews with you all. So we sort of hesitated a little bit because honestly, like, I'm reading all the names up here, and this is a very consistent subset of you all. So these are probably all the names I would have said, well, you can call them. They'll probably talk to you
They'll participate
because they come to every meeting. But so just realize that if you get a reach out from them, it really is them. We said, yeah, go ahead, begin before you do your presentation. And I don't think it would be anything super long or involved, just sort of an initial conversation about how things are going on the regional abatement.
I just saw the chat from Adam, and that was gonna be my next question, Connie.
Oh, what
So
was it?
a follow-up for the legal guidance on what needs to be posted on the websites.
Yes, and I had that in the back of my mind, but I was also saying, you know, I'm not sure where OASAS is at with that. So I will follow up with counsel's office. Before the last meeting, I had reached out and I understood that.
Counsel's office is here.
Oh,
Sorry.
thank you, T.
Sorry.
Yay.
I'm eating, so I don't want you guys to see me eating my rice bowl on screen. That's a very messy thing. No, so there is a document. We are just trying to get through final approvals so that we can issue it. Understood. Yes, time is growing short, we know, but trying to get it out there as soon as possible.
Excellent. Great. Thank you, T.
Welcome.
I didn't see everybody who's on, so yay, you're here. So as soon as it is fully vetted, we will make that available. Other questions or comments, concerns? All right, Kristen, do you see any hands or anything in the chat? I don't have that open. All right. All right, so a half hour is going to do it for us today. So you got a half hour back to actually eat your lunch without trying to multitask to Alan and everybody else who hasn't had lunch yet today. So do go grab a bite and take that half hour for yourself to take a deep breath and rest a moment before you launch into the rest of your afternoon. It's just a suggestion. It's just a suggestion, but rest is good. It refreshes us. So appreciate you all. Thanks so much for joining, and we will see you in September. Remember, you might get a call from NYU between now and then. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Connie.
Bye.
Bye.